The 15-Point Plan is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network.
Welcome back to the 15-Point Plan podcast. My name is Ryan Park Greigg, and as always, I am here with my amazing co-host, Jacqueline Smith. 15-Point Plan podcast and the 15-Point Plan system is something simple. It's simply a system that will give you more energy and reduce your stress by following these 15 points that our friend and business partner, Ben Kinney, has created over the years. Over these last couple episodes and into the next and final episode of this edition, we are jumping into our Chief Growth Officer, Brendon Bouchard's High Performance Habits book, which is one of our favorite books. In fact, we love it so much, right, Jacqueline, that we've read it a couple times. And we found that when you read books, not just once, but maybe twice, and then you share them with your team, or you share them with your kids, or you share them with your loved ones, you really get a chance to dive even deeper into these subjects that we love and appreciate so much. So we have gone into the previous 4 high performance habits. And today we are jumping into high performance habit number 5, developing influence, right?
Absolutely. It's such a favorite of mine. We have the influence point on the 15-point plan. And so I'm excited to dive in. And we were just talking, I've really enjoyed doing this with you, Ryan, and just kind of doing a deep dive into the book. And I've actually read this book 4 or 5 times. And I'm getting so much out of it this time around. And I think it's because we're kind of taking it one habit at a time, and then we're kind of debriefing. And it's been a powerful way to experience the book. So it's been an influence on me to do this with you. So what is influence? Influence is essentially being trusted, right? It's being respected. It's the ability to influence how someone thinks or decisions that they may make. And for this discussion, we're talking about positive influence, right?
That's right. Yeah. Influence is, when we look at the 15-point plan, is simply being mindful of what we pay attention to and having a positive influence. If something is not what we want to be or not how we want to act, we got to get rid of that. We got to eliminate that. We got to eliminate that news. We got to eliminate those people sometimes. So today we're talking about developing, influencing, teaching people, and teaching ourselves often, right? Which we're going to talk about using our own words to be a positive influence to ourselves, to challenge ourselves to grow more, to challenge our people to grow more, and I guess to frankly kind of be a role model, show up like the people that we want to be, right?
Yeah. And I think, a lot of people think that influence is, maybe charisma or certain personalities that, you're an influencer, right? Even on socials. And we do always influence people. We're always influencing each other and ourselves. But what he talks about in the book is that high performers are just more intentional about their influence. So if you think about it, we're always influencing, right? With our thoughts, with our language, with how we show up. And this is about being intentional with how you influence. And one of the things that came to mind when I was reading this, and I was talking to the team about it on Monday, was, my trainer right now, he's just so funny in how he won't let me just kind of be negative, right? So a couple of weeks ago, I was really sore from our Tuesday workout, and I went in on Thursday and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sore. I can barely lift up my coffee mug. I mean, I was being dramatic, right?
Yeah.
And I know, isn't it great?
Right.
And he just flipped it, and it was like, you don't have to necessarily call someone out when they're being negative. You can actually just flip the script. And it's amazing to see when you do that. I mean, I was like, yeah, it is. I mean, isn't that the point? I come to do my workouts. I want to feel that it's making a difference, So it is awesome that I'm sore.
Yeah.
It just changed. It influenced my mindset about it.
It does. And my 13-year-old son, Bentley, he hates that because I'm the same way. He's like, I'm so sore. I'm like, oh, good for you. Isn't it great? You earned it. You earned that soreness. Enjoy it. And what I hear often is, our words matter. And are we
Yes.
positively influencing ourselves saying, oh, I'm sore and I'm complaining, or rather, man, I'm sore. I crushed whatever I did and I'm
Yeah.
happy because of that. Like I love Jesse Itzler. He's one of my favorite people to listen to and just as a positive influence in my life in so many ways. And when he talks about his 100-mile runs and training with Navy SEALs like Chad Wright. Like Chad Wright just says, we don't get tired, Jesse. We don't get tired. We don't get tired.
Mhm.
And that has become a mantra of mine or a positive influence of mine. I don't get tired. I don't quit. I don't give up. I don't give up. And so when I'm hitting a wall in a workout or in a call session, right?
Mhm.
When we're doing our calls or when we're just pushing ourselves past our limits, you can actually say those things out loud and be a
Mhm.
positive influence to yourself by using your words that might sound, oh, I'm so sore, but rather say, I'm so sore. This is so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've been working with someone on my mindset and personal growth. And just yesterday, actually, I was prepping for a webinar and she was helping me prep for it. And I said, oh my gosh, I hate being on camera. And she was like, no, no, no. Like, I love being on camera. I love the opportunity to influence people all over the country, and help people grow. We're not going to talk about how we hate being on camera,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, our words matter, and we teach people how to think, which is one of the first point in his book about how we develop influence. He said you teach people how to think, and you shape how people around you think. When you can shift someone's thinking, you shift their trajectory.
That's right.
And that's really what we're talking about, right? Is helping people think differently and see opportunities versus, they might be seeing fear, like me, like fear of being on the video. She helped me see the opportunity of being on the video.
Yeah, Brendan says high performers don't just give orders, they
Mm-hmm.
guide others on how to approach problems and opportunities. So it's a matter of guidance and looking at this problem and how do we want to approach this opportunity and not just say, well, you should do this.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be told what to do. I've learned as a leader and from somebody that looks to people, if you
Mm-hmm.
tell me what to do, I feel maybe attacked. I'm not going to do it. But if you can show me the opportunity, if you can challenge me to grow, if you can show me the way and then I can figure it out or our people can figure it out and we can feel like, that person encouraged me, they influenced me instead of barking at me like I might be guilty of so many times, then our people will be influenced. And you're a good leader when you've got followers, when you've got people that say, hey, like, one of the things that I used to do that I don't do as much is share my workouts on social media because it's super uncomfortable and I can
Mm-hmm.
build a community. And I love it when people say, hey, like you were a positive influence in me taking action and making a change in my fitness. And I say, cool, I'm so glad I could do that. And that's a positive influence on people.
Absolutely. I just met with an agent for coffee right before this, and she's a newer agent in town. And she said to me, I really appreciate your social media posts. I read them every day, and I just am so thankful for those because you're not even my mentor, but I feel like you're mentoring me, you
Oh,
know.
cool.
And on the flip side of that, like I'm sure there's some people out there that think like, oh my gosh, who does Jacqueline think she is? She's constantly posting on social media. And it's like, yeah, you know what? I'm not doing it to influence those people. I'm doing it to influence the ones that are open and receptive and that want to think differently. And so I guess that's another lesson is, be careful to who you are trying to influence because not everyone will be receptive or want to be influenced, right?
Yeah, and I mean, the old saying, like, you're not doing it right if you don't have some haters. Like those
True.
people, they're like, oh, who is Jacqueline? Deep down, what they're saying is, I wish I could be like Jacqueline. Deep
I
down,
like
what
that.
they're saying is, I wish I had the courage, because it takes courage to do those things.
Yeah.
And frankly, the people that are saying those negative things, they just lack the courage and they see you doing the things they wish they had the courage to do. So be that positive influence in the world. Jump
Mhm.
on camera. What's going to go wrong? Someone's going to say, oh, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm
Yeah.
doing it. What are you doing? You're doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you put yourself out there. You're a positive influence to me on your posts, on your social media. And I think to myself, gosh, I I could be doing more. And so that's a positive influence that affects everybody. And again, there's always going to be people that see whatever we do online and maybe they think some way or feel some way, but who cares? If we
Yeah.
feel good about it and we're putting things out there and we get just one message every week or every month, or even if it's just, I don't know, we know we touch somebody and change somebody's lives, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely. So teaching people how to think. The second one was challenge people to grow.
Mhm.
So he says high performers don't coddle, they call people up. So they push others to expand their standards, their goals, and their identity. And it's not criticism, it's challenge paired with belief. So people expect or respect the leaders who expect more of them. So challenging people to grow around you, not in a way like you were saying, Ryan, where it's like you're telling them what to do or being condescending, but calling people up and
Yeah.
helping them see what's possible. Some people see obstacles, right? You could help them see opportunity. Some people see fear. You can help them see possibility, right? And so
Yeah.
challenging people up.
I think, we said the word opportunity a few times throughout this last 10 or 15 minutes, and the challenge to bring people up. And what I
Mhm.
heard too in this chapter and in developing influence is, how can you take just about any situation and turn it into a positive? I
Mhm.
loved his story about living in, I think they grew up in Utah, and when his heat went out. And so what do his parents do? It's like so much of our influence being positive or negative is simply how we look at a problem. And when his family's heat went out, they didn't come out to the kids and say, "Oh, kids, our heat went out. Like, we got this problem." They set up a freaking tent in their living room and they call it camping in their living room. And now Brendon goes to school the next day and says, "Hey, where'd you guys sleep last night?"
Yeah, I
"I
love.
camped out in my living room."
Mhm.
They took that negative moment and they influenced their kids in such a positive way. And that's one of the things that really stands out to me in this chapter, or in this topic of developing influence, is how quickly can we take a real tough or hard situation and influence the people around us to just make the most of that moment.
Yeah, I loved that story. It's so good. I was on a walk with Phil last night, my husband, and I was telling him about that. And because it reminded me a lot of how he was brought up, and his mom was very much like that. His dad was sick for most of his life,
Mm,
and they were very poor, and she just found a way like to make everything fun,
yeah.
and I love that story so much. Which is actually the next point that we're going to talk about is role modeling
Yep.
the way. So the biggest way to influence people is by your example, right? And how you carry yourself and the standards that you hold yourself to and the way that you speak. And I remember being in a room with Brian Gubernick, which he has the No Days Off podcast, which is a part of our podcast network with Win Make Give. We were at a mastermind down in Scottsdale, and someone asked him, because he's very healthy, right? You
Hmm.
know him better than I do. But I was at a table with some other people, and someone said, "Hey, like, how have you influenced people around you in their health?" You know, and he was like, what I found, I don't know why this stuck out to me all these years. What I found is, the best way to influence people in their health is just to model it, not necessarily to preach to them about it. And it
Yeah.
reminded me of this time when I was in my 20s, and I had read this book, The Power of Superfoods, and it was talking about like the order in which your body digests different foods, and like being conscious of that when you're eating. Like, don't eat, I think it was like yogurt and then fruit, because the fruit digests faster, and the yogurt's like holding it and it's fermenting in your body or something like that. And I remember working with this girl in my 20s and being like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're eating that yogurt." I was like the know-it-all. And I think of lots of different ways where we can come off as like the know-it-all, instead of just model and be an example to people. And that's actually the most powerful way to influence them. It's not telling them stuff all the
Yeah.
time and preaching at them.
Yeah, no, 100%. And it can fall into just about any one of the 15-point plan categories. Are we doing the movement that we should be doing? Are our kids seeing that movement? Are the people around us seeing that movement? Are we carrying our water bottle with us? Are people seeing us drink water?
Yeah.
Right? Are we eating the healthy food? Like, people come into my office with donuts and they say, "Oh, Ryan, you probably don't want one, do you?" Because they know.
They don't do that to me.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
When I'm driving home, Jacqueline, I stop at that dang donut store. But when I'm in the office, I just have this rule: I don't eat sugar in the office. And now I've influenced myself to know I don't do that, and now people around me just know that. And I hope that they, enjoy the donut if you want, but they think like, okay, like maybe there's a positive influence just by my behavior of what I do. So use that influence. You ask yourself Brendon's question: who needs me on my A game today? Ask the question: how can I be that role model to my people, to those that I love, to my team members, and continue to develop that influence? Because when you do that, you're showing up as your best self as well, right?
Absolutely. So I wanted to close out with this quote. You don't need a stage to have influence.
Hmm.
You need alignment. People follow clarity, courage, and consistency. And when you become the person they believe in, they'll trust you to lead them, even through the fire.
Ooh, I love it. Lead them through that fire. Keep leading your people. Keep leading yourself through the fire. Don't forget, listen to our past episodes at winmakegive.com. Share this with somebody else that's a positive influence in your life. And as always, follow both Jacqueline Ray Smith and myself, Ryan Park Greigg, on all social media platforms. Until next time, we thank you for listening, and we'll see you later. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.